Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Women's boxing power shift. Thanks to MVP, you're seeing the new queen, the next face, and it's happening in real time, people. And then you got old news. And it shouldn't have to be that way, but it is this way. Anyway, one thing we do know, Alycia Baumgardner, she's supposed to be fighting in the unification for the 130-pound championship against South Korea's Bo Mi Re Shin. Now, the thing about Bo Mi Re Shin is she gave Caroline Dubois a very difficult fight and a majority decision loss for the WBC lightweight title last March. But the fact she gave Caroline Dubois a tough fight, that tells you that she should be paying attention to her. I saw that fight. And I remember all of the hype around it and about how she performed. And I'm also going to tell you, I've never seen the female fighters in Korea. They weren't in the gym when I was there training. But from 2008 to 2010, almost every day, except for like on Saturday and Sunday, but some Saturdays I would still go down there. But for almost every day, for that 2 years, I was in the gym. Right there in Songtong. And I can tell you about them Koreans when they spar and when they work, especially when they got someone they feel can go on to represent the Olympics and go become a professional athlete and represent their country. They don't mess around. So I'm telling you that to say this. Expect a serious fight for Alycia Baumgardner. You know what I'm saying? And if she can show up and show out, then Baumgardner's on to something special. Because she's getting that international exposure, that international name, and she is an MVP fighter. Shadasia is an MVP fighter. Caroline Dubois is an MVP fighter. But it's supposed to be a really big card happening in April, man. A major women's boxing event is taking shape. April 17th, Madison Square Garden at the theater. Now, I was surprised to hear that they're putting Shadasia and Baumgardner together. Because before I knew Shadasia was returning in April, I still don't know who. But Baumgardner, there really wasn't much talks about it, but now you know. So it looks like Shadasia and Baumgardner both are going to be on this card. And it will be promoted by MVP. Now, this is what's interesting. This could be one of the most interesting fight nights for boxing in 2026. Okay? Now, let's talk about the Baumgardner-Bo Mi Re Shin fight. Baumgardner is already one of the most accomplished fighters in women's boxing, and I think they are really working to build Baumgardner and Shadasia Green and Dubois, but in particular, Baumgardner and Shadasia Green into what I said, the next face and the new queen. I really do think that's what they're doing, because with Baumgardner, you got someone who can fight, who has power, and she just has the look. Talking about physically, you know, and you see all the striations in her ass, like she's in shape. And then with Shadasia, the next face, you know what people like to see: knockouts, ferociousness, power. She is an attraction, because you know when Shadasia gets in that ring, what you're gonna get. But see, this fight could present new challenges. Although Baumgardner holds multiple belts at 130 pounds, and she's beat elite fighters. Now, there's a huge danger here when it comes to the Korean fighter, because she may not be huge in name to casual fans, but hardcore boxing fans know she's a serious technical fighter. A couple of things I want to point out. If you've never seen her fight, she has excellent timing, sharp counterpunching, strong fundamentals, and she's very disciplined, and you cannot discourage her. The Caroline Dubois fight was something very special to watch. She gave Dubois a very, very tough fight. And remember, a lot of people call Dubois Lady Tyson. You see, but that fight, people expected Dubois to come out and dominate. Instead, Shin showed toughness, ring IQ, the ability to compete at a high level. And that performance alone earned her respect from fans and analysis, and that's why she's in this fight from analysts and the analysis they created on this fight. And that's why you see her in this fight with Baumgardner for unification. But see, I like to break fights down stylistically. You know what I'm saying? because it's interesting to me to see how you can get someone like Baumgardner and Shin, bring them together, and a clash of styles, and try to anticipate what we're going to get. Now, the one thing about Baumgardner that we know we're going to get, we're going to for sure get Baumgardner to be explosive, to be aggressive, to be a big puncher, to be emotionally charged fighter. Shin, you're going to get someone being very technical, very disciplined, very composed, and very tactical. So, although we would like to see the mashup, crash up, to see a brawl, what we're probably going to get is more of a chess match. But one thing for sure, Baumgardner has to be in shape with that expanded gas tank, because Shin will let them hands go from the first second of the first round to the last second of the last round. So Baumgardner, in my opinion, for her to win convincingly, she got to control that distance. She does seem to have a power advantage. She got to use that power, avoid getting drawn into a slow technical fight, and she got to go to the body. So Baumgardner has to do the things that Baumgardner does. But if she lets Shin settle into rhythm, the fight could become very, very competitive, which is what Baumgardner does not need, because you know who's going to be sitting on the sidelines. Man, please, her last fight, she didn't look that good, and here it is again, she didn't look that good. These girls can't touch me, they're all bums. She light-skinned it anyway. You know who's going to be sitting there waiting to start chirping up and quacking and shit. It's Claressa Shields. Now with Shadasia Green, that's another major, major story on this card. Major storyline is a return of Shadasia Green coming off of that big win over Savannah Marshall, where she rocked her badly. When she rocked her, the fight changed. Savannah Marshall even said, I've never been hit like that. I never experienced anything like that. So that just lets you know that Shadasia Green is the real deal. But as of today, no opponent's been announced. So this has created a lot of speculation amongst fans. Even for myself, I'm like, how you have a fight coming up in April and they don't want to let the cat out the bag on who it is? So I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to be something juicy. You know, that's just Hood Champion's opinion. I think we're going to get something juicy. Because if they're already letting us know Baumgardner's fighting, the Korean, they should have been told us who Shadasia was fighting, unless we're going to get something juicy. And I don't mean it's going to be, man, please, oodles and noodles. No, not her. It's going to be probably another big name that we're probably going to be pleasantly a surprise. But what I will tell you is she is viewed, Shadasia Green, as one of the biggest names in the sport. Probably, I ain't going to say the most dangerous fighter in women's boxing, but one of the most. But she needs that momentum. She needs the momentum. She needs a big win. So she just needs to send a message. She needs to send a message. The way Deontay Wilder sent that message when he fought Jermaine Stavern in that rematch. Sent that message when he fought Dominique Brazil and clipped him in that first round. He was sending a message to AJ. The fight never happened, but he was sending messages. Shadasia needs to send a message. Seek and destroy. That's it, man. She got to dominate, score a convincing win, make a statement, because the goal is clear. Set up the fight with, man, please, Claressa Shields. But that situation, it's kind of sticky, right? It's not straightforward. Yeah, Claressa called out Shadasia Green. That doesn't mean anything at all. We've been talking about Claressa and Shadasia Green for quite some time. Looks like we may get it, but then Claressa started talking about Michaela Mayer. I don't know. But I think Shields and Green, stylistically, Green is naturally strong at 168. She got knockout power. She brings physical danger. So many fans believe she could be one of the most dangerous opponents Shields could face. I don't believe that. I know that. Claressa knows that. As far as who would be the favorite in that fight, I'm picking Green. But, I mean, you got to understand Claressa would be the favorite because she's never lost. You know what I'm saying? One thing about Claressa, she's never lost. So you're going to go against the undefeated fighter who's ascended weight divisions and become champion? You know what I'm saying? So I could understand Claressa being the favorite. But I just think Shadasia Green gets her. And I've broke it down in videos on why I feel she gets it, man. It has a lot to do with her, how she's evolved. I've talked about this, man, in detail. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. I'm just telling you. She brings knockout power. She's a physical danger. She can time you, counterpunch you, make adjustments. She steps with you. She does there's a lot of little things she does that the casual boxing fans not gonna see. That's how come Savannah Marshall got her ass in trouble. Where Savannah was having success, then got her ass in trouble. Big time. And Savannah can crack. And Shadasia was standing up to that shit. Claressa don't hit like Savannah. So what's Claressa gonna do? Coochie coo her, tickle her, chicken pecker to a decision? You know, it don't work like that. But I'll say this, because I don't want to get too far down a rabbit hole. Got y'all thinking that Claressa Shields and Shadasia is gonna fight. I'll say this, I think Claressa will fight Shadasia. 100%. I think Claressa will fight anybody. That is the one thing Claressa has control over, and she does very well. At the same time, got to speculate about her team as far as what they really want. Because, see, Claressa ain't calling no shots. None. She's a worker bee. Get your ass over there and file them forms. Get your ass over there and take out the trash. Get your ass over there and stay an hour late. Finish them tasks I told you to do. Get your ass in the ring with this person. We ain't worried about legacy. We need you to win. We need to make this money so we can count the green. Count the green. She ain't no boss. Everybody in some capacity has bosses. I'm retired. Uncle Sam, if he decide to give me a pay raise, cool. If they decide to not give us pay raises, you know what I mean? We all got somebody to answer to, but she ain't no boss. She out there doing whatever that her team tells her to do, which is ridiculous. They should be really setting her up for the gazillions and gazillions of dollars. Don't seem to be that like that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Seems like the team is prioritizing safe victories rather than high-risk fights. But see, that there's a perception amongst critics. When they sit back and they watch boxing, you're like, okay, wins equal momentum. Momentum equals money. High-risk fights threaten that formula. Her team can't afford to threaten the formula for Claressa to keep getting wins because they lose the momentum and they can't keep rolling into the green. They want the dollar bill, y'all. So from this perspective, Shadasia Green represents a serious risk because she is a serious risk. Shadasia Green brings that natural size, physical strength, knockout power. She's a different type of opponent for anybody compared to others in the division, you know what I'm saying? And she's a champion and she ain't trying to lose them titles to nobody. And she keeps getting better. The only thing with me is I don't know where I wish she was training at high altitude. The conditioning, she got to be on point. It'd be nice to know whatever Claressa's doing for conditioning, and Shadasia Green could do it too. Right? Whatever Claressa's doing for conditioning, let Shadasia do the exact same thing. And let's see what happens when they get in that ring. That's all I'm saying. But that's why the matchup continues to generate so much fan interest. That's why they want that Shadasia Green Claressa fight. Now, I'll tell you this. Every fighter has a team, but that MVP factor, that's just a storyline in itself, isn't it? The role of most valuable promotions. And I know Jake Paul went out there and he lived in Puerto Rico and pissed the people off because he showed a little bit of Trumpism in his ass. But the bottom line is, man, Jake Paul, MVP, has been aggressively invested in women's boxing. And the strategy really appears on building stars, marketing personalities, putting women in headline positions. And that's what this is doing. They're not out here bragging about when we put butts in seats, we get money, man. No, they don't give a F about none of that. The proof is in the pudding. You know what I'm saying? They have been putting women in the headline positions, a bunch of women, signing them, cultivating them, and getting those women straight. So those women can be out there able to stand on their own 2 feet and make money, not just from boxing, but also in different lanes, different paths. And that's amazing to see happening. But I do believe that Baumgardner and Green are being positioned as the new faces of the sport of boxing. Some observers believe MVP is quietly positioning Baumgardner and Green as the two new central figures. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you why. Because one, the Claressa Shields is old news. She's old news, people. She's done it to herself. She is old news. Most people are tired of her. They talk about her because she's still interesting. It's still entertaining, but she's old news. Nobody wants her to be out here. I haven't heard one female fighter say that Claressa can't fight. And I haven't heard one female fighter say Claressa is the face of women's boxing and she represents us. 100% of them say she don't represent shit. She represents herself, drama, chaos, lack of integrity. None of them have nothing good to say about her, except for what the consensus is, which we all know. She can fight. That's it. That's all she has. That's all she has going for her when it comes to boxing. That's it. But when you take a look at Baumgardner and Green, marketable personalities. Marketable, charisma, exciting. And then you still got the Claressa Shields drama, man. Extremely accomplished. Surrounded by a lot of controversy, online drama. And I'm going to just tell you this. Fan perception matters in sports. It matters, man. Some observers believe that constant social media conflicts, public disputes, ongoing drama can distract from an athlete's accomplishments. 100%. And that's what it's done to Claressa. The only person talking about her accomplishments is her. Or her, and maybe myself. I every now and then, I talk about it because I recognize what she's done. She deserves to be lauded for that. But outside of that, the distraction she creates takes away from that. And images matter in boxing. It matters in whatever you do. Being professional, conduct yourself. If you conduct yourself as a professional, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to how you speak, when it comes to verbals, non-verbals, attitude, how you interact with people, social skills, everything. How you do your work. If you stop when you find yourself about to get agitated and you just think about what's the definition of professionalism? Am I behaving like a professional? And then 9 times out of 10, you'll get it right. You know what I'm saying? But if not, your image will be affected, man. Being the face of women's boxing requires more than wins. You got to have brand appeal. You got to be professional, like I said. You got to have global marketability. You got to have sponsor friendliness. Promoters often consider these factors heavily unless those guys are short-sighted and they don't truly understand what it is to be a professional, how to really develop somebody. If they don't really understand, how can that person who's working with them benefit? And that's why I think the changing landscape of women's boxing is happening because boxing fans want somebody else. They don't want Claressa there to even be mentioned. Katie Taylor Serrano, nobody complains about them. Shadasia Green and Baumgardner, nobody complains about them. Women's boxing is evolving, people. It is evolving. I'm telling you, promoters are searching for fighters who deliver exciting fights, connect with fans, attract sponsors, grow with the audience. Baumgardner and Green both had the potential to check those boxes big time. And I'm telling you, Baumgardner and Green, if they shine in April, they win impressively. It could lead to a new narrative in women's boxing. Claressa will get pushed to the side. Her fighting her friend Franchon is commendable because she put money in her pocket. But the way things played out, shit backfired. Made Claressa, her team, the sport of boxing, look crazy. She's old news. And that narrative, I'm telling you, when it comes to new generation of boxing stars, especially in women's boxing, that narrative, man, is shifting towards the spotlight, man. Baumgardner, Green, and other rising names. You think about what people are talking about, the boxing. No, Claressa is not being talked about anything really except for drama. And I know some people say all news is good news. Nah, I don't think so. But at the end of the day, April 17th, I think that's the date they're going to be fighting on, could become a major turning point. Because if Baumgardner dominates If Green destroys her opponent, fans are going to start saying, the future of women's boxing is here. I talk about all of them more than other channels because, I like the women's boxing. I like men boxing too. I had somebody complaining, man, you do talk about more women than men. It's like, stop exaggerating. I talk about the men, I do all the youth. It's probably like an 80-20 ratio. It's just watch the men videos then. A lot of cats don't be watching. They pick and choose what they want to watch. The ladies on my channel, they like when I talk about Claressa and the female fighters. Some of them like the men fighters. But they watch the videos. Look at the numbers. 1 to 5,000, 15,000 views. It's the ones I do on the guys. I may get 1,000, 2, 80, 500, 900. But consistently when I do the videos on Claressa and Shadasia and all the women, and especially when I do the layup, that shit, all of them easily over 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. So I gotta keep everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep talking about women because the future of women's boxing is here. And when it comes to the old news, they better figure it out real quick because I have a feeling Baumgardner's going to dominate, Green's going to destroy her opponent, and that is only going to elevate them and it's going to push Claressa Shields further down. And none of that shit's going to matter about 2 gold medals, 19 world championships, 5 weight divisions, undisputed, and all that. It's not going to matter because you got 3 knockouts. But you got a big, big mouth. And people don't respect that. Anyway, man, women's boxing entered a new era. And it's always involved Claressa Shields. But going forward, I don't think you're going to really involve her. And especially if she decides to walk away for a little while for whatever reason. It's not going to create a demand to see her again. The ship going to keep on sailing. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.